Welcome to Just John and April, the relationship podcast, your place for life, love, and laughs. In today's episode, help, I'm married to an extrovert, and the word of the day. Hey, babe.
Hey.
So last night was a thrilling night, even though we are both very sleepy.
As you can see, I had to wear this T-shirt.
Yeah. I don't think they can see it.
Well,
like
Snoopy is taking naps.
You see that says, I like naps?
And I want to be sleeping right now.
Yes.
So I had to wear this shirt.
The reason why we're so sleepy is because congratulations to the Nats.
Yes.
For winning the World Series.
That was a great series.
In 7 games. And no one won a home game.
It's true.
First time in the history of, I think, any sport that they said that the home team never won a game.
Wow.
Which is crazy. I've never seen that in my life.
But it was great to watch.
It was great. It was really nice. Actually, you watched the last 2 innings in and out of sleep.
I did.
I tried to turn the TV down and all that kind of stuff. She kept waking up every time somebody got a hit.
I was like, yeah. He was like, I thought you were asleep.
Right.
I was watching that.
I was like containing my excitement so that I wouldn't wake her up. And then she told me something. Yeah. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing?
I was kind of like sleeping with one eye, kind of peeking. So
yeah,
I didn't want to miss.
You didn't want to miss that. That was a big deal. Yeah. Congratulations to them. And also, you're welcome.
That's right.
Because we moved here, and that's why they won.
I say it's the brave spirit that just came. No, it ain't no brave spirit.
That ain't what happened.
Yes.
The Braves only won 1 World Series, and all them years they had the best pitching in the world.
Well, look how long these people never won.
Okay, that's true.
So I brought that one
win
win spirit.
Way to go, babe. And this might be the one win because they're getting rid of a bunch of guys, so they might even get. Yeah,
really?
There probably won't be another win next year.
Okay.
So anyway.
Well.
Tonight, we are talking about what it's like to be married to an extrovert, and we don't know anything about this. Well, I don't, because I'm not married to an extrovert.
True, he's not. I definitely am.
And I'm married to an introvert.
Yes. I'm a little bit in between, though.
Yeah, you're not super introverted.
But I'm definitely not an extrovert.
Right, that's true.
I'm not.
So, first of all, let me say why we're doing this. I was away last week. I was out of town, and I was staying with some friends, and we had this amazing conversation. So thank you, Damien and Tansy. We had this amazing conversation about introvert, extrovert, and they're similar to us, where the two of them, one of them's an introvert, one of them's an extrovert, and we kind of talked about what it was like to find out more about our personality style and everything. We each took a test and sort of revealed what it told us and everything. And it was a great conversation. And I thought, man, we should talk about that because we've had issues over our marriage related to the difference between us as far as being introverts and extroverts. And I think there was a point at which there were things that I thought about you that weren't normal. I wondered, why is she like that? And I think I automatically ascribed to you some negative things that probably just go along with the fact that you're an introvert, which isn't negative.
And what's crazy is I didn't know that I was okay. Like I thought, I guess I am wrong for this. So I'll give you an example. When we first got married, do you remember this, babe?
I don't know.
When we first got married and you were in the apartment in Macon, Georgia.
Macon. I remember the apartment.
And we had just gotten married. And when you get married, first of all, we're 21, 22.
Right.
Okay. So I'm like, this is the first time that I can, sleep and I don't have to get up. I can just lay around all day, Not that
I was fine with that too. That was great. Just being married. Let's chill.
Yeah, but not really.
Okay.
So it was like our first. I think we were done with our honeymoon and all that stuff, and it was our first weekend together. And this joker was like, "Come on, babe, let's get up." It was like 9. I'm like, I thought we were just gonna say, "Come on, get up!" You're just gonna lay around all day. So I kind of felt like, man, am I
right?
And I think that the introvert in me wanted to just stay home, and hang out, at home,
and not be around people,
right? I didn't want to go out and be walking around and doing stuff. I wanted it just to be us, quiet. just enjoying.
And I like it just being us two, but what I wanted was just us around other people.
Right.
Like, let's go to a restaurant. Let's go
Right.
out somewhere. Let's go to the mall. Whatever. And I didn't
mean,
understand myself then either.
But we always did that while dating.
True.
So I'm
You're
like,
right.
we can actually be in a house alone by ourselves, and it's okay. And
right. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I'm sorry for making you feel bad about that, because now that I think about it and I think back over our marriage, I think there was a long period of time where I didn't understand you as an introvert. Well, first of all, can I just say I did not know my wife was an introvert? I mean,
I would not have called myself that because I didn't want to be one.
Right.
So I knew I wasn't an extrovert.
Right.
But I definitely was not about to say that I'm an introvert.
Right, because that had a negative connotation. It always did. And introvert to me meant standoffish or not really nice or whatever. And that's not what introvert means. In fact, extrovert people assume means life of the party. That's not what that always means either.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
All it really means, extrovert and introvert are descriptions of how you like to recharge.
Right. That's
really all it is. So when you're feeling drained, do you get energy from people or do you get drained from being around people?
But that's the thing. That is probably the technical meaning.
Yes.
But that is not the way that people see introvert, extrovert.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
It still has a negative connotation,
and we say
one has a positive connotation.
Oh, he's an introvert.
Right.
I mean, we still have that
You're right.
negative response to introverts.
Right.
And it's like, it's funny because we've moved a lot, and everywhere we've moved, I find out later when people realize I'm not really stank.
Right, because people assume right away that April's
stank.
not. They think she's not necessarily nice right away.
And I think it's different now because I have, I realize, okay, I need to be a little bit more comfortable with speaking to people, and I just think I have to do that in the role that I'm in. I feel like I need to be a little bit more outgoing.
Right.
But
every time you do that, you have to come out of yourself to do that.
I do.
Yeah.
I have to think about it. I get nervous.
Right.
I get a little
anxiety.
In certain situations, I get anxiety.
Right.
Like, oh no, I have to go and walk to that crowd right there.
Right.
Okay, let me just, that's when I turn into Vanetta, my
Right,
middle
exactly.
name. Like, I'm gonna be Vanetta right now. I'm just about to walk in and about to be the V-Dog.
Right.
So, but I was gonna say that those people let me know later when we're friends, I thought you were kind of stank when you first got here.
Right.
Or I didn't know, I was trying to read you. People say that all the time. I'm trying to read you.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm just quiet.
Right.
And I'm shy when and not all introverts are shy necessarily, but I'm shy around new people.
Yes. And around big crowds.
Around big crowds.
Yeah.
And I think it's not, and I hate that because it's really not fair for introverts to be accused of being stank.
Right.
When you have no idea that introverts are actually, some of them, it's not all of them, but
at least you.
At least me, I can talk for myself and some others that I know who've said the same thing, is I'm sitting there anxious. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to talk. And the thing about it is sometimes I don't know what to say.
Right.
And I'm like this awkward silence.
Right.
And I have been around people where I meet them and then we're just standing there.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, inside, I'm just like, oh my goodness, how am I going to get away? I have to get away right now. I can't take it.
Yeah, see, that's tough. So here's my thing about this that really is what makes me feel kind of bad. As I've been doing a lot of reading, and so one of my best friends is an introvert. My sister's an introvert. And each one has said things to me about stuff that I have said in characterizing introverts that has kind of let me know that it's hard to live in the world where extroversion is supposedly like the good thing and introversion is the bad thing. So all of the people that are famous are extroverts, all the ones that get up front and do all this stuff.
We think they are.
We think they are. We assume they are.
Because you get up front does not mean you're extrovert.
That's a good point. Excellent point. But I'm saying that ability to get up front seems to be something that we praise and we value.
That's true.
In culture. That's like a big deal.
Right.
And yet, when you really look at it, the world is run by introverts.
They are definitely the inventors.
Not just the inventors.
They are definitely coding.
They're coding. They're the steady people that keep stuff going. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
they're behind the scenes.
Yes. They don't have to be out in front. And so they're the real unsung heroes that don't get any credit because they're not up front. The extrovert oftentimes can talk well, but isn't necessarily doing a whole lot.
That's true. That is true.
And that's not all the time. I'm just saying, kind of in general, I think it's time, and I think it's getting better, and we're getting to that point. It's time that we started like really giving introverts more credit and allowed them to be who they are and not force them to have to be extroverted in order to be accepted in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, because I find that as a teacher, that we as teachers, and I don't think this is something that we mean to do, but even as parents, we're always trying to push our kids to go and talk or go befriend them or be whatever. And it's like, they're not always able to do that just naturally. It's hard. And it's hard for me as an adult. So I can't imagine. I mean, I can't imagine. I remember as a kid, I was always being pushed to speak up or April, just go do whatever, not knowing. So I always saw it as bad that I didn't.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
You grew up feeling like it was bad to be that way.
Right. And I get it, though, because I know as a parent, I'm like, go over there and ask them
You do it
yourself.
now, right?
Yeah. I'm like, why do I have to do that for you? Go ask. So I get
Right.
that. And I think we do need to teach our kids that they do have to, they should be able to speak for themselves.
I think giving our kids and teaching our kids social skills is a totally different thing.
And I think my parents encouraging me to do that
was a good
helped.
thing. Yes,
so that I can do it now.
Yes.
Even though I have anxiety.
Exactly.
I can do it,
Right. There's a great website that can actually help you with finding out what your personality style is, and I think you'd love it. It doesn't take very long to do it. The website is 16personalities.com. That's 16personalities.com. Go there and click on it to take the test. It says take the test. You take it. Doesn't take very long, and at the end, it will tell you things about your personality style that will open your eyes. And the very first thing it tells you is whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. So I think you should take that. All of us have taken it. Everybody in our family, actually. Yeah. And it's been very helpful. So do that.
But I was going to say that I'm married to an extrovert.
Right. I was going to ask you, has it been hard to be married to me? That's a real question.
It has not been hard, my love.
Oh, thank you. That's nice.
But there have been times where I'm like, I'm wanting to leave.
Right.
Because I just can't. And
I want to stay.
And not in every situation.
Right.
So if I'm comfortable with the people and everything,
right.
But if I'm in a situation where, guys, this guy right here can talk. If you go back and look at our vlogs, okay,
right.
where we are going on vacation doing stuff.
Right.
This man has friends on every plane that we got on. He left with at least 2 or 3 sets of friends.
She was kind of making fun of me on the vlog. Okay. Basically, she would record it and stick it into the video and put a thing on the bottom, John's friend number 2 or something like that.
And he really did. Some people exchanging numbers. Like, we've gone that far where he ends up playing golf with them later on. Like,
right,
really?
Right.
Come on. I talk to people, but it's usually because they're the they're the extrovert talking to me.
Right.
I will say hi to people. I'm friendly.
Yes.
But again, you can just start a conversation, ask people questions, and I don't know I don't know if it's his voice, but he'll ask people personal questions and they just start talking. And I'm like, I could never do that,
Right.
And I've actually tested and said, okay, I'm going to try to just be like John, and it doesn't work.
Right.
I'm like, and it's because it's not me.
Right.
And so
it's not. You don't have to be that way.
And so it was hard when we would go to like events and we go into the place. It's a bunch of people I do not know. I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
And he would just go and be talking to all, and I'm just standing there like myself.
I'm like working the room, but I don't realize. And so it was probably a few months of this, I would say. Maybe it was earlier than that, but it feels like as I look back on it, it was a few months of us going out to places and me sort of leaving you alone and going around and just, talking to people and doing what I do. And then later on, you would come back and tell me, you kind of left me by myself. I'm like, did I? I don't remember that. What are you talking about? And I just had to change that. Am I better at that now?
Oh, much better.
Okay, good.
And actually,
I really have tried.
As soon as I expressed that to you,
right,
that change happened immediately.
Okay,
immediately,
good.
Where I just wanted to be with him,
right,
because he's like my security blanket,
right.
Like I feel like when he is around, I am good,
right.
And I felt that way growing up with my sister. I felt like when she was with me, I was good.
Yeah.
So I didn't have as many times where I felt like I was, alone
anxious
in it.
or
Right.
yeah.
Because I always have my sister
Right.
or my best friend or
Right,
something.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
right, yeah.
And you're my security blanket now.
Right.
so
So
it's
now
like-
what I do is if we go somewhere and I work the room, I just got April in my arm with me. I introduce her to everybody because that's another thing I wouldn't always do. We'd be talking to a bunch of people and we'd just be talking and then they'd ask her a question and they don't even know who she is. And so,
I would be so embarrassed.
Yeah. So I've just...
But it wasn't his fault. I mean, it wasn't anything to be embarrassed about either. It was because of my own, I guess that's kind of an insecurity because I didn't realize I was an introvert.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I thought something was wrong with me. I
don't think we ever really thought through what it meant to be an introvert and extrovert and what it meant to be married to each other as...
First of all, those words weren't even used when I was a kid.
Right.
They weren't even talked about.
Right.
You know, that has come since we've been older and we are
Right.
learning, you know, but as a kid, I never heard of introvert and extrovert. Let's see what you are. I mean, my kids at school, they're like, I'm an introvert. So I'm like,
you're like, whoa, she already knows?
You in 6th or 8th talking about you an introvert? You know, like I didn't do that in
Right.
middle school.
Right.
We didn't even know what that was.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think now the kids know and they're okay with it.
Right.
Because they're learning now
Yeah.
that there are different types of people. And I think we should be okay. And I'm starting to learn this more as an adult that, you know, people are different.
Right.
People are not all like you.
We have to
And
stop.
it's okay,
We have to stop
you know?
defining ourselves as normal. That's
Right.
it's actually what my friend Damien said last week.
Yes.
We were having this conversation, and Damien
Yes.
said, he was like, we got to stop really just saying this is normal or that is normal based on who we are. We should basically just say that's how that person is and stop saying that's abnormal just because they're unlike me.
Or this is the right way.
Right. We got to stop doing that too.
You know, because
Yeah.
that's the way they do it.
Right.
And they like it that way.
Right.
You don't have to live with it
True.
that way.
Right.
And it's okay. There are several ways you can do things.
Correct.
And I think that you know, it goes along with personalities too. You
Yeah.
know, and I feel bad for some introverts because I can see how I can just look and tell that, you know, it's affecting them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like the way that people
Socially.
Yes, the way that people regard them or
Yes.
interact with them or whatever.
Right.
It has something to do with that. So this is my thing. I wonder if being an introvert or an extrovert for our viewers is something that they find negative or positive. I wonder if you would comment on that. Are you an introvert that has always struggled sort of being in your own skin and wondering what's wrong with you and all that kind of stuff? And maybe lately you have read up on it and you realize, hey, that's just being an introvert and there's nothing wrong with it. I actually want to know, do you think that automatically when you hear extrovert, that's positive, when you hear introvert, that's negative, or vice versa? I wonder. Just give us some comments. Let us
Yeah.
know. And how do you deal with it? How do you, kind of overcome that? And have you overcome it? Are you still dealing with it now? The better question is, if you're married to someone who is an extrovert and you're an introvert, are you struggling? Can we help you out?
Help?
Can we help you out in some way?
Well, I really think, to be honest with you, just like with anything else in marriage and in relationships, you have to understand the other person and be
Yes.
willing to, be flexible.
Yes.
I mean, there are some times when I don't want to go.
Right.
And sometimes I don't understand. Why don't I want to go?
Right,
Man.
right.
And I think you're right. It's that I don't get recharged.
Right.
I
You get drained being around people.
Yes, but not in a negative way. It's
Yeah.
just after a while, I need to go home.
It just takes your energy.
I want to go and be in my room.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's so funny because I never thought I was an introvert. So when I say that, I'm like, wow, I'm at that. I do. I need to
Right.
be recharged
Right.
in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that if you were to say to me, why you always got to go and be, have some time, because I don't have to necessarily be by myself, but I just need some home time, I guess you would say. Why do you have to always? Then I'd feel bad. You know what I mean? But you don't do that.
But let's be honest now. Okay. So I do something for April that I've been doing since the kids have been older. And it's not necessary. It doesn't have to happen, but I do it anyway. And I'm telling you right now, I think it recharges her to be able to get this done. So April teaches at the same school that the kids go to. So I don't ever have to take them to school or pick them up.
No,
But
it's not a problem.
but I do.
don't mind doing that. Yeah.
I take them to school at least 3 days a week, usually Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And the first time I did it, April came home sort of really excited about how her morning went. And she said it's mainly because, first of all, You would expect that maybe if she's in the car and the kids aren't in there anymore, she'd be listening to music, she'd be talking on the phone. She said, no, I just drove in silence to the school, and you have no idea what that did for me. And I realized in that moment, I'm not even sure you realize it even now, that I think part of the reason why you love that so much, it's not just because you get some time where it's quiet because the kids aren't doing all that yapping or whatever. I actually feel like, though, that does something for you as an introvert, especially when you have to go in and be with 1,300 kids screaming and acting crazy all day.
They're not screaming and acting
crazy. Okay, maybe they're not screaming and acting crazy, but you know what I'm saying. They're middle school kids. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think there's something that happens when you're able to get that energy in the morning before you have to face the wolves. You know what I'm saying? I think that's part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm saying I think you've underestimated that over the years, and I don't think you understand just how much you need that. Every so often you come home and you just want to be in the room by yourself. Now you don't need it for long, but I really believe that the reason why you need that is because you've been with people all day.
It's true.
And
when
you're
I
drained.
come home, I just want to go to my room and close the door.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like to go take a shower. Oh my goodness. That is like the best time for me.
Because nobody's in there.
And nobody can come in.
Exactly. Nobody can go in there.
You know, it's nice.
Yeah.
It is.
Now, on the other hand, let's say we've been at church all day. I had to preach. I've had to talk to people afterwards. We go to lunch, whatever. We may have people over our house. We can go all night. Ask April. I don't have any problem with that.
It doesn't.
All night. They can be there all day. It doesn't matter how many people are there. I do not care. Right. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't even change my clothes. You know, I'm just, the whole day. At the very, very, very end, I'm finally tuckered out and I'm ready to go to sleep. But most of the time, if we're going on a long car trip and we have to drive for a long period of time, I actually do better if we go after we have been with a bunch of people.
He does. He is
I'm wired.
He is hyped.
I'm hyped the rest of the day because we just had, for some reason, being around people, it's like, it just gives me a super duper amount of energy to the point where I'm like Energizer Bunny. From being, I'm almost like sucking up their energy and storing it or something.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but that's kind of how it is.
Going on a long trip after you've been with people, like a bunch of people, and from person to person talking, you are like ready to drive the whole trip.
I have no problem with that.
I'm like ready for a nap.
Right. Yeah. It's just how we're different.
Yeah, and I like being around people when we have those long days. They're always great. I'm not like I'm ready to go. It's not like that.
Right.
But it is when it's over. I'm like, oh my goodness, I am getting in the bed or I'm going to just sit down for a second or, and then the next day I don't want anything.
Right.
So it's like you're ready for the next day.
Right.
Ready to
Right. So here's the thing about you as an introvert that I think confuses people and might have even confused you over the years. Mm-hmm. Because people assume that introverts basically don't like people, which is a mischaracterization.
That's true.
That is not true.
No, it is not.
But because people assume that introverts don't like people assume you're not an introvert because you like people so much.
Right.
You actually get along with people. You're very nice to them. You're actually good with people.
I do like to
and
be around
because
people.
of that, people assume she must not be an introvert. And then when you do things that an introvert would do, they say, well, what's wrong with her? They assume something's wrong with you or something like that. That's why they can't figure you out. That's why they think you stank, all that kind of stuff. So I actually think you're nice to people. You're good with people. You don't like large crowds. You're much happier if it's just 2 or 3 people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's more like your speed. And then after being with them for a couple of hours, we need to go home. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I don't have to really say help. I'm married to an extrovert, but I think that when we first got married,
yes,
I was like that.
Yes.
Because it was just too much for me.
Yeah.
I could not. Because I didn't know how to deal with it, and it was a lot.
But what I did was I listened to April when she told me how she felt, and I tried to make adjustments to accommodate her. She didn't make me not be an extrovert, but I thought it was important to respect the fact that she was an introvert.
And you know what? I have to say that as soon as I expressed that, because I didn't know that's what it was.
Right.
I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
And when I expressed that to you, there was an immediate change.
Right.
That's
good. I'm glad
I never
was.
felt like you made me feel bad for those feelings. You
Yeah.
never made me feel bad. But I think we do, like you said, culturally, we do make people feel like it's something wrong with being an introvert or that introverts are weird.
Right.
And there are some that are super duper introverts where they seem awkward.
And there are some extroverts that are very hard to get along with.
because they're constantly talking,
Or they're just overbearing, they take over
they're just
everything.
Too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can have you can be far.
Yes,
on both,
you can have both
with
extremes.
You can have both
That's
extremes.
exactly right. Yeah.
But
So anyway.
I think that even as an introvert, because I say this and I don't mean to continue talking about it, but as an introvert,
You realize this is like a talk show, right?
I know.
Okay.
I'm just,
so you can talk. It's not a problem.
I have something else to say.
Go ahead.
Like as a teacher, if I'm an introvert and I, don't necessarily, I have a little anxiety when I have to talk to people, new people or what that I don't know and I haven't, met before and I have to start the conversation. I feel like there are certain things that certain times where you have to step out of yourself,
right?
Because of the position you're in.
And
I'm
as
sorry.
a teacher, you can't
cannot be a teacher
right.
and be someone who doesn't want to talk because
right.
I'm shy
right.
or because
right.
I have to step out of myself
right.
and I have to go ahead and do what you're supposed to do
right.
in that role.
Right.
You have to communicate.
Right.
You can't. I've seen teachers where a parent walks in the room and the teacher doesn't move. The teacher doesn't look at them. The teacher, and it could be that they're an introvert and they really don't know how to socially do that. But I'm saying you need to learn to do that.
Yeah,
so
your position demands that you have to learn how to do that.
Same as you, as a pastor, I feel like you could be an introvert,
right.
but you know what? You got a bunch of members out there,
right, right,
that want to say hi to you,
right.
So you have to. So I do believe, same as an extrovert. If you're an extrovert and you are just overpowering, you might need to calm down.
That's right.
Pull
it back some.
So I think we can move a little.
I think there's room for improvement no matter what you are. There's no question about it. And there's negatives and positives to each one.
Negatives and positives, definitely.
Yeah, but I don't think automatically the word extrovert is positive. The word
No.
introvert is negative.
No.
I do not believe that. And I'm glad that I'm married to an introvert. I think introverts rock.
I love that I'm married to an extrovert because you're my security blanket. And I can just be next to him and let him just talk, and it looks like it's me talking.
Yeah.
And he's talking, and I'm just like,
yeah.
I can do that. I can agree and laugh at your jokes.
Yeah.
So I'm just...
Right. Yeah, well, that's good.
Now it's time for Word of the Day.
Word of the Day.
Okay, what's the word of the day, babe?
Our word of the day is complimentary. Complimentary. Now, this complimentary, as you just saw on the screen, is with an E, not an I. We don't mean give each other a compliment.
True.
It means something very different. Here's what it means. Combining in such a way as to enhance or emphasize the qualities of each other or another. Complimentary.
Yes.
So we kind of chose this word because what we feel is that we're not really opposite sexes. I think we're complementary sexes. In other words, I'm married to an introvert. She's married to an extrovert.
He really wants me to be extrovert.
I don't want her to be an extrovert.
Just kidding.
But here's what I'm saying, though. There may have been a time when I did want that.
Yeah.
But I think if I changed you or tried to push you into being like me, I would actually be losing what it is that is beneficial when we come together.
Right.
If we're complementary sexes, that means that areas in which I'm deficient, you compliment me. Areas in which you're deficient, I compliment you.
Yeah.
So that we can come together and be a better whole. So I think if we're really going to be complementary to each other, we have to allow each other to be what we are. So I can't make you into an extrovert. I've got to let you.
I can't make you into an introvert.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you don't want me to be.
I don't.
I don't want you to be an extrovert.
I mean, I really love that you're an extrovert.
I love that you're an introvert.
I would have said help in the beginning because I was a little overwhelmed with that. But now, I mean,
it's working.
It is working.
Yeah, I'm glad. Well, anyway, hope this helps you guys.
Yes, and I'm hearing rain outside.
Yeah, it's raining pretty hard.
So the bed is calling my name.
Absolutely.
So
we'll see you next time.
Good night.
Thanks for watching Jess, John, and April.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also hit that notification bell to be notified about our next episode.
See you next time.
Bye.